First stream of the year?
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
Yo, what's going on, guys? First stream of the year, All You Can Eat Warriors. We're back again. It's your boy Ash, and we got Mr. Joshua himself, King Hill, baby, back in the building. Welcome back, brother. What's going on?
Oh, bro, how good is it to be back, man? This is the true start of the footy year right here. Let's go.
Bro, amazing. Guys, I've seen you all in the chat there prior. Me and Josh have just been talking, catching up, seeing how the off-season was. But thank you so much, guys, all tuning in again. Jazzy, what's going on? What's going on? Pain in the butt. What's happening? Not long to go now. That's definitely not long to go now. Everyone's going crazy. Tans, we all love Tans. She's back in the chat, Bella. Ready to go. Guys, just a couple of formalities I want to get out of the way real quick. Unfortunately, my streaming PC broke down over the off season, so I am working on my gaming PC right now. So I won't be able to pull up certain sort of things and stuff like that at the moment. I'm still working through the kinks and that, but that will come very shortly, which also means I'm working on a different software. So if there's any problems with the software, guys, is there any audio problems on that, make sure you let us know so we can obviously change it and get ready for, for the future streams and make it better and better. But Joshy's looking great as well, as always. So I'm pretty happy to see that it's going very well. But Joshy, off season, it's been such a long time, mate. How's your Christmas period? How's your New Year? And maybe give us a couple of things you're excited for coming to this year.
Oh man, I look, after the heartbreak of watching us go down at home in September, I had a lot of thinking to do, a lot of self-reflection on how I was as a fan this year or last year. And I decided that in November that I'd double up and I'd become a member for 2026. So I'm in for the ride. And I think that's what my whole Christmas, New Year's was about, as well as, as much as we don't get to really see much footy content, it was trying to, get as much as I could. It tied in with the cricket, tied in with the tennis, tied in with, everything that you can watch, just hoping and praying that the footy would come back sooner and sooner, counting down the days. But I've got February 14, I've got the X on the calendar ready to go, and it's for the Warriors trial. It's for the Warriors trial.
Oh, brother, it's honestly been something I've been waiting out so much for the off season, right? Like, it was good having, I was talking to you prior, it's good having a little bit of a break and, catching up with family and stuff like that. But after a little bit, you'd get done, as you said, for me personally, it's NBA's on around this period, and then NFL's on this period. You're filling holes with, you're filling your hole in your heart with all these different types of sports. Cricket, shout out to the Australian cricket team, baby, smashing England. We all love smashing England, don't we?
It's a moral victory.
But I think there's the one thing that we can never, fill the hole in our hearts with. And, the Warriors are coming back very, very shortly. And we will touch on that a little bit more, guys, with the trials coming up. Obviously, there is preseason trials for a couple of other NRL sides. The Vegas sides are getting their trials done this weekend. So we're very excited for footy this weekend. But more that we're going to be talking to towards the end of the show is also our juniors are kicking off this weekend as well. So our SG Ball and Harold Matts, hopefully they're in for a successful season as well. But we may as well talk about some stuff that obviously happened last year coming into this year. But obviously, it's obviously really big news coming into this year. Mitch Barnett and Luke Metcalf, the return of the two big dogs that obviously hit us so hard of last year, mate. Looks like Mitch Barnett is due to be back by round 0 to round 4. Luke Metcalf due to be back from round 6 to 9. So hopefully within those periods we get them earlier rather than later, but make sure obviously they're going to be all goods anyway. First of all, Mitch Barnett. How big of a difference was the Warriors with and without Mitch Barnett of last year, mate? And how much is it going to be having him back, coming back next year?
Oh, bro, he's like a true leader, eh? He's just someone that you can't even really like describe the impacts. Like we were such a solid team with him in there, and just the games that we played, the way that we did play during that time was just it was amazing. And even with like Luke directing the team around as well, like having both of those in there and losing them both within a month was like devastating for us. I mean, we still managed to pick it up and get back, but you never really can discount like how much Mitch Barnett does for that team, leadership wise. Like, follow me, boys, let's go. And then Luke as well, just directing the team around the park. It's such a shift from that afterwards as well.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Like, I think prior to Mitch Barnett going down, we were looking at a top 3 finish at least. Everything was running quite smoothly. Then obviously we hit that period. Mitch Barnett went down. We had the Sharks game, which made us look like, oh, maybe we can still do it without Barney. But I think the longer it end up, pushing out, I think without our big leader in the middle there next to Fish, it definitely got harder. We started to see that, we weren't able to probably put on. We weren't the greatest attacking team from the outset of last year, but you did see the difference of, our forward pack probably not getting the same punch that we used to have, especially in defense as well. We're getting ourselves caught up in positions that we weren't so used to of last year, especially defensively. And that, I think that he was a major miss. It's not just for the Warriors either. I think the New South Wales Blues definitely struggled without him in the side as well. And at the end of the season, even the Kangaroos obviously still doing a pretty good and smashing England the way we should have. But I believe obviously Mitch Barnett would have been in that side, would have been a massive addition as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, obviously New South Wales, they suck anyway, but like extra without Mitch Barnett. Like when they have Mitch Barnett, they're a little bit more bearable. But as soon as you lose them, like as like Mitch has gone, pretty much wrapped up the series there. I know Queensland were 1-0 down already, but
Mm,
like exactly, it was as soon as Mitch went down, it was here we go. We're on track now for a Queensland 2-1, and
yep.
man, it's a lovely story with Mitch there, and I'm sure that when he's back in New South Wales colours this year, it'll be a bit more scary for me. Watching on a Wednesday night, just oh man, he's just a weapon, and that the way New South Wales used him as well, especially in that 2024 series, was incredible. um, and the way he plays, and then even like you said with Aussie at the end of the year, like he would have been on that tour. He probably would have been starting as well, just the way he would have finished that year. And you're right, like we would have finished in the top 3. Like it was nailed on. The top 3 was set for pretty much the entire first 12 weeks. As soon as we kind of got into there was even a point where we were 4 points clear of 5th, and that's something that we've never had before. And so it's quite interesting to see kind of such a bit like he had such a massive impact, and I'm so excited to have him back for a full season this year.
Bro, I think that honestly, as we touched on before, he was a major miss throughout season, but him coming back, I think I'm very, very excited. Hopefully, it is sooner rather than later, sort of thing.
Mhm.
As I said, due back round 0 to 4, so maybe there's a possibility they'll run him out in trials. I don't think so. I think in round 1 is probably where we're going to be nailed on to have Mitch Barnett. From all the rumors I've heard, I think, yeah, he's definitely clued on to maybe round 1 at the moment. So hopefully that continues that way. But now to our man that was directing the ship, the guy that was pretty much leading the Dally M's all the way up till the unfortunate knee injury, our boy Lukey Metcalf. A lot's happened to him as well over the offseason, having his little baby, marriage, stuff like that. A lot going on. Very, very happy to see that man come back. I feel like there was obviously a lot of chat around how we did kind of peter off towards the end of the season with losing these big players. And I think Luke Metcalf was one of the big major ones there, showing his ability this season to be one of the better sevens in the competition right now. And then the off season with all his contract and stuff. It's so good to see he's staying a Warrior. But what we're going to miss with him to start off the season, brother, and then what are we very excited for? Is Luke Metcalf going to become back to Daily M Luke Metcalf? What are you kind of expecting for him coming back from this injury?
Um, it's hard because like when he's come back from injury in the past, he's taken a week and then he's back.
Yeah,
And in the past, it was with SJ, and so there's a little bit of well, Sean's around, um, and he's leading the team, but now it's Metcalf's team, so it'd be quite interesting, just seeing how he establishes himself again.
yeah,
And like I would be, perfectly fine with him running around in cup for a week or two to get his legs under him. If we're going well, of course. If we're not going well, then straight back into the first team, Lukey, save us. But I think there's a bit of like obviously when you go through a big injury like that, there's a lot of like mentality about it. Like it's not just the physical rehab; it's the mental rehab as well. And like I
mm,
was reading SJ's book over the Christmas New Year period, and like hearing him talk about his injury as well, and just knowing that like what Luke has gone through, and how he's kind of bounced back, even like 2024 when he broke his leg in that tackle from Frizzell.
yeah,
Um, and then the way he came back into last year as well, like it looks like he's got his mentality about him.
yeah,
And like this one wasn't a soft tissue injury. It wasn't a hamstring. It wasn't something like that. Like in the
no,
tackle, his foot is planted and then his whole body just moves. Like
yeah.
it's like he gets
Freak accidents,
absolutely,
bro.
yeah, he gets demolished in a tackle, and it's just so unfortunate. So to me, like if he comes back strong mentally, like we are on for a charge.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really excited just to see that point of attack. I felt like we did lack it. I think all Warriors fans saw. Again, continuing on, like to start the season, we weren't the greatest attacking team in the world at that period there. But I think losing Luke, who was one of our main contributors in attack as well, when he had that really nice connection, him and Chanel really connected very well mid-season. We had a couple of games where he pushed up to 40 points scoring and stuff like that. Obviously, the Sharks game was a big one. We had the Rabbitohs game. There was a lot of big moments this year where it clicked, like the Cowboys game. It clicked and everything looked like, Luke Metcalf was pulling the strings. And then I felt like, as soon as we lost him, we did struggle to regain that. But I do believe that, Tanner did the best that he could do with the time of that period. And something else I kind of want to touch on coming into this is obviously coming into this season. Luke Metcalf, as I said before, not back till probably round 6 to 9. I'm probably being more generous around 6, but I had heard rumors that he's trying to nail down for round 6. That Tanner Boyd is going to have a full preseason there in that 7 jersey if he is the preferred 7 to start off the season, which I do believe is probably the way we're going to go about things. I don't think that Tamati is going to jump Tanner Boyd that quickly over the offseason and that. How much is having that little bit of time for Tanner to really, embed himself into the first grade squad, to run around with the boys instead of getting chucked in probably late end of the season where everyone was kind of clicking at that one point? How much is that going to help Tanner Boyd probably to start the season? And maybe are we going to see the better part of Tanner Boyd that I felt like we saw in moments towards the end of last year? How much is that preseason probably going to help him for his start to the season, for the Warriors' start to the season?
I I believe that the biggest thing for Tanner last year was defensive systems, and he
Yep.
just wasn't embedded in what we had going on, and that's why you know here we go. First mention of it in the year. DWZ had to jam in a lot, like it's just because it was breaking down, and like he was at the, for most of the time there was him holding too long, which is why he couldn't, move out and things like that, like giving too much respect to the guy on the inside. So for me, like his attack was on point. I didn't think we struggled much with him on attack. Obviously, wasn't the height of Luke, but him having a whole preseason where he's defending alongside the boys, he's attacking with the boys, and it's his team. Like, again, I don't think he's ever had that. Like, even at the Titans, it was always is it going to be Tanner? Is it going to be this person? Is it going to be that? Because I think he was fighting with Toby Sexton at one point
Yeah.
up there, and then it was, Jaden Campbell. And so it's like, it's always been who's going to be the number 7 to start the year. But this year, like, I mean, I don't think we will start with Tamati. I think like Tanner's kicking game is just way too up there for Tamati to compete with. And Tamati, again, off the bench last year was just so impactful. So to me, like I see Tanner starting at 7 and knowing that it's his team for at least the first 6 weeks. And so we should see like full preseason Tanner, which will be just, I think, awesome to watch.
Yeah, no, I think we all saw the obviously we won the New South Wales Cup last year. We won the state championship last year as well. We saw him in that grand final prior, that grand final day. He looked like, just leagues above that, division of football. And that's the thing when you're watching New South Wales Cup and that you see guys that look like they have the ability, like he has all the ability for a first grader, but there is also this little jump that people don't see from those guys that have the ability of first graders and actual first graders. And I think it was just in that little period there of last year, I think getting chucked in towards the end where guys were, trying to refigure themselves on that edge. We had a lot of injuries on that side too, not just having Tanner Boyd fill in spots, but we had Maratini Kure in that, fill in that time every so often. And we were just chopping and changing. Lecker was starting sometimes, some games of the season. So, obviously Kurt Capewell playing centre a couple of times that season because of Rocco Berry, and we'll start touching on a lot of that sort of stuff as well. Hearing some of the stuff in the off season. Unfortunately, Rocco again. I feel like that having the preseason, having these guys training next to each other, having a game plan to start off the season, and hopefully, fingers crossed, no more injuries and stuff, and we can get Luke back in there and bed him back into the system again. As I kind of touched on before, it'll probably be a lot more of a sturdy base for Tanner to kind of, make the right first step and get the boys on a bit of a roll. And then we'll reconfigure everything when Luke Metcalf comes back in. Because I think we can all agree that Luke Metcalf is our starting 7. We saw probably our best progression of our year through Luke Metcalf. But Tanner's still a great number 7. He's still got the ability of a first grader, but it just shows the levels between that New South Wales Cup and that first grade. That's kind of where I'm kind of entailing here very quickly. But shout out to everyone in the chat too, guys. You guys going absolutely incredible. Tons in the chat. I'm glad that Webby and the lads knew that Mets would be a long recovery, so they knew what the preseason would look like and who would be likely in their replacement. Totally agree. Willis, actually, we were chatting about this in the pre-show, but here's some off-season chat. Has anyone seen Demi's new haircut? That's a dirty haircut, mate, but I absolutely love it being an Aussie. But how are you feeling over there about Demi's haircut, mate?
Oh, bro, it is something. I think it's the best of both worlds, isn't it? It's, you get the streamline on top, but you still get to, maintain. Obviously, I can't, maintain anything at the back anymore. But, while you got the hair, he's got to go for it. And I think it's also one-upping Felice Kaufusi as well. It's making Kaufusi know that, like, the Warriors are better than the Dolphins in this hair game, in the back of the hair game. But yeah, it reminds me a bit of like a foxtail. Like, I know, like in the US, they have, those balls with like the trails on the backwards, on the back and things like that. So when you like throw it, so I'm hoping that it kind of goes the same, because you can throw those quite fast. So.
What I would say, only Dimitri could make that work, I reckon. Like, there's only certain guys in this world that can make that work, and that man has a jawline of doom. So, any man with something like that, bro, he doesn't need to worry about anything else going on top of his head. His jawline's definitely covered for all that. Tans is there as well. Wonder if Lecker will get the starting role with another preseason under his belt. I think that Lecker, for me personally, I think Lecker will probably take another year before he will actually properly steal, or probably towards the end of the season, will probably maybe look at stealing a starting role. Obviously, it's back and forth whether he's better off the bench or on the bench. I was looking at statistics over the offseason. I don't have them currently right now, but I was talking about Warriorholic with them, and we had a better win percentage with Lecker starting than what we did actually off the bench, which goes
Oh,
against everything we kind of think of with Lecker being the better impact player. But I still probably look at the eye test. The eye test for me is like having Lecker off the bench just to start off and ease into his role there with the Warriors. I probably prefer him to still come off the bench currently right now when we got to the older statesmen playing edge back row and can start off the game really well and we can ease into it and then bring Lecker on to, bring some punch. But I think more so towards the end of the season because both Kurt Capewell and Ratani Kodev getting closer towards the end of their contracts with the Warriors, I think that's when Lecker will probably end up stealing a starting role. But your thoughts there?
yeah, look, I think spoilers. I have him starting on my bench this year.
Yep.
Um, I think he plays around about the same ish minutes usually, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. So he's still like I think really involved. And I think like just like you said with the older players and being even more like just solid and rigid in that like kind of opening period, that first 10, 15 minutes where it's just like a car crash every week,
Yeah.
like it doesn't it doesn't I don't know, like speak to me as much that he would like start in that first 10 to 15 minutes, but coming on like after 20, like that's kind of the perfect time for him getting into
Mm.
the game. Still there's like still a lot of bite and things like that, but he can really move, he can make it work as well. So for me, he starts off the bench, and like you said, like later on in the year, I'm sure he'll come through and finish the season starting in the 13.
And with that, bro, we may as well start touching on a couple of the rumors that are going around from the preseason of the New Zealand Warriors coming to this year, 2026. A couple of positional changes, maybe up in the air, or a couple of different, talking points, as I say, who's winning battles and stuff in the off season. So first of all, I think one of the biggest ones, and you kind of touched on, Dallin's year last year, is definitely wasn't his greatest year in the Warriors jersey. He definitely didn't get back to his 2023, sort of form. But coming into this year, I heard a lot in the offseason that he's actually been training really, really hard and he's actually, really giving it to AKP, and him and AKP are pretty neck and neck. I've just heard rumors recently that obviously AKP has just jumped Dallin in a pecking order and training with the first grade squad. But there's also a rumor going around with Dallin carrying a little bit of a niggle injury. So it's still up in the air whether AKP's really stolen that spot from Dallin. But your thoughts around that? Obviously, AKP being the new signing for the New Zealand Warriors, a lot of Warriors fans are very, very excited for it. I made a video currently, guys. If you want to go check it out on my channel on Ash Thomas, on YouTube, guys, go check it out. But I'm excited to see what AKP can produce in the Warriors jersey. I think Webby has always done wonders with a lot of players that either down on confidence or probably haven't found their form. I don't agree with the whole sentiment that he should just get the starting role straight away. I think he should work for it, which is what I'm hearing in the offseason that he is working for, and he's winning a lot of these things and stuff as well. But your thoughts around this? How do you like probably embedding AKP? Is it AKP or Dallin for you at the moment? Where's your head at right now coming into just the preseason trials to see before we get to see that man line up in the Warriors jersey in preseason?
I think if you'd asked me in or maybe like November, December, I would have said Dallin is still starting for us. He's still our guy.
Mm,
Um, but the more I hear about AKP and how hard he's training, the more I just love the idea of it. Um, and the idea of him nabbing, say, that left wing spot and moving Roger over to the right. Because I think pretty much everything we've seen of AKP, even in like, juniors and things like that, he's been on the left. So
agreed.
um, it would be what him and Adam Pompey out there, which I mean, Adam Pompey, fantastic defensively,
Yep.
um, alongside him, and then have Rog on that right side. So I think I'm leaning now probably more towards AKP.
Yep.
I would have called myself crazy a few months ago, but yeah, look, I'm excited to see just whoever wins it. Obviously, has done the mahi, has done the work, so it makes sense that they're there. And to me, like as much as we talk about, finishing ability of Dal or the speed of AKP. To me, it comes down to defense, and
Yeah.
that can be a sore point for a lot of us. Warriors wing watchers, as you know, as it goes. But look, maybe AKP might have the jump because of how well CHT defends and how well Adam Pompey defends. Maybe it's that, like the left side, he'll be able to make an impact there and will have easier decision making. But again, I'm excited either way. I think both, like you said, have had great training through the preseason. So I'm yet to make a decision, and I know we've got um, our pre-season team list coming up soon. So look, even I don't know what I'm going to spout out in it.
Brother, I'm kind of in the same boat because I've been bouncing back and forth on it. Obviously, you guys know, my thoughts around the whole situation of last year. If you obviously a long time Wise Up TV fan, I've kind of been spurting the same thing again and again and again. Like I get so frustrated hearing the same sentiment of, Dallin's always charging in without people understanding the system that's actually backing behind it. And my argument between all our wingers do that within our breakdowns within, probably man inside of him, you're going from 4-man, 3-man, 2-man. That's the reason why he ends up doing what he's doing. And we saw Tain do exactly the same thing when it was like the Cowboys game, stuff like that, the Manly game. People forgot that we got tore up on those edges as well. And a lot of it came down to indecisive decisions inside of him. And it causes a breakdown, which ends up causing the whole notion of cutting down time and space. And AKP has always, for me, notoriously, as watching the Titans, has had issues doing exactly the same thing, probably even more issues than what Dallin had. But the more I've kind of sat with it over the preseason, thought about, obviously his speed, his tacking, I do think that his errors under the high ball in moments as well is probably something he needs to clean up, and hopefully he does under Webby in that. But as I said, I have full trust in Webby's going to make the right decision. Currently, right now, hearing about it, I wouldn't be mad to see AKP and Roger, line up as our wingers. I just don't agree with the whole sentiment from what I heard in preseason by a lot of people is that we don't sign AKP to put him in New South Wales Cup. It's like, well, either way, like the Gold Coast Titans had him playing in Q Cup at Ipswich Jets, like right next to my cousin, my missus' cousin, Ipswich Jets. So I know personally that, he's got to work for his spot, and I think that's the biggest thing he's got to do because his talent's undeniable. I think we all can agree with that. But it's going to be crazy to see either one of him or Dallin's going to be playing New South Wales Cup this year. And I just want to let you guys know, the last time Dallin played New South Wales Cup, I'm pretty sure he ran for close to 300 meters and scored 3 tries within a short period of time. So it's kind of similar to when Jazz Tavunga got dropped back in New South Wales Cup. He's going to absolutely tear it up. So either way, I'm really excited to see how it plays out. I think currently right now, what I have my ears on is that AKP will probably start on that left side and Roger on the right. I wouldn't have I've seen people put up their team list and have Dallin and AKP. I would have to have one or the other. Only more so because Roger's going to bring up that 200, 300 meters per game. AKP hasn't got the bigger up, the work rate out of the back end as what Dallin kind of has. Dallin has probably that 150 to 180 on average out of the back end. AKP average, prior in the Titans, probably only 1 year, only get to that number, but probably around 130s. So we need to have that Roger and maybe a CNK or Tain to be running for big meters, and AKP being more of that finisher and that lethal, broken play type of player. So I wouldn't agree with Dallin and him because we'd be looking at 150, 130 out of the back end from either the two of them. And our game predominantly works off the back of our back three getting us into great field position to start our attack. So I'm looking forward to see how it all plays out. Trials will probably tell us a little bit more coming into the season as well. But as I'm hearing again, guys, I just want to let you guys know there is also a little bit of rumors that Dallin is carrying just a niggling injury at the moment. So maybe that could be more so Dallin carrying a niggling injury and AKP hasn't won that spot just yet. But I also have heard that AKP is trying to house down there too. The other sort of talking point coming to the season, brother, especially coming from last year, is Tain Chuapiki versus CNK. From what I heard in the off season as well is that there was some time there that Tain was taking first team reps at fullback, that we actually trialed a lot of different options there. I don't know. I haven't heard personally where CNK was getting posted up at either. So he's back now. Obviously Tain was rumored that he was carrying a broken leg, but I've seen a lot of, photos of him running around and that. So hopefully, short-term recovery. It's probably only just maybe a very short-term fracture recovery or whatever's going on there. but maybe CNK's won that spot back again. Where are you kind of sitting at the moment with Tain versus CNK? Because personally, I love CNK and I love Tain. I'm back and forth on either end. I see the positive and negatives to both, but I kind of know where you're going with this one, bro. But I just want to see where your head's at right now after the off season of, you know, watching tape again and watching all the games again.
Yeah, bro. Real quick, after I finish this, I'm just gonna turn my light on because
You're right, bro.
I'm streaming in the dark at the moment. Um, I think I rage messaged you in September last year after the Panthers game, saying that I was done with CNK. I was over it. We like there was a couple of things in that game that I was watching and I was just like, I cannot believe that we've got him at fullback. But then, saw him, like again, you kind of see them through the preseason, your heart softens a bit. And I was all aboard the Tain train last year at the start of the year. He was my guy. And I don't know, I think to me I'd love for Tain to get that opportunity. I think when we've had him at fullback, it's been like he's been outrageously good,
Mm.
and something that haven't been. We haven't had his kind of creativity from the back in a little while, and so to me, like I'd love to see him there. I'd love to see him do that, but yeah, I think we've got to stick with CNK to start the year. I think again, like if we want to start strong and we want to start consistent, like CNK's there, and he will have, much like I, from rage messaging, we both would have learnt a lot from that game last year, and the emotions out of it now, and it's back to work. So yeah, I think CNK is probably the one for me.
Yeah, I think that either way, like for me, I can't get overly emotional either side because I think they're both great players, right? I think that, hopefully I didn't lose Joshy there. I think he's going to
Nah, you're good. You're
jig
good.
it
You're
up.
good.
There you go. I was going
I'm
to say,
here.
you just went pitch black on me, bro. Like, what's going on over here?
Bro, I told you I was streaming from the dark.
But like personally, either way, bro, when you're looking at both these guys and what they produce, what they give to the side, like you can't go away from seeing that CNK has got more of that Dylan Edwards type of build, right? That kind of Tracy type of build, which is very similar to the game plan that we kind of build our game upon, right? It's just high work rate out of the back end, turning up defensively week in, week out, and that. Tain's got a little bit of that as well, but I think we all kind of agree Tain's probably got more of attacking upside, growing up playing more of a 7 role from what I've heard in his junior grades and stuff. We've seen him in Kiwi A's playing the 6 jersey and do a very good job of it as well. Like Tain's just definitely got the ball playing, and I think that's the point of difference is what you're kind of alluding to is, if we need to have that point of difference, Tain does look like the better option, especially in a good attacking ball where CNK is just probably more of a guy that's going to keep us in the game long period of time, within that arm wrestle. So I'm like, pick your poison. Either way, I like them both, which I'm guessing where you're kind of at the moment, which I'll be happy to see Tain probably take that next step. But personally right now, I do have CNK ahead of him just right now. There is always this rumor around as well. Well, not rumor, it's actually been fact, but that Jeremiah Lamana, our Harold Matts winning fullback of last year, he's training with the first grade squad at the moment and looking like he's going to get an upgraded role, whether it's going up to New South Wales Cup this year. Currently, I didn't see him on the team list for the SG Ball, which we'll talk about again a little bit later on. So that would mean more so to that he probably will get around that New South Wales Cup squad this year. And I think a lot of fans will get excited to see him as well. A burst of speed, a burst of energy out of the back end. It brings competitiveness, and I think that he's probably a little bit more of our future option. So he'll be in between Tain and that, whatever happens there. I still would love to see what we'd look like with Tain out back as well, just to see what Tain can produce at a long period of time, and whether that is CNK go to a center position that we are struggling to carry at the moment, because at the moment, Rocco Berry, unfortunately, carrying injuries as well. Ali Leotar, I'd love to see Ali get a starting role this year, but, obviously he was out due to injury of last year and a couple of different things he was working on. We probably do need someone sturdy that's going to sit in that position week in, week out, like Adam Pompey has been doing, which obviously causes less defensive issues, what we kind of spoke about a little bit earlier. So that's the best way we can see it happen. Other ways we can maybe see it happen, brother, is the big news in the offseason, the 6-man bench could be a thing, all but confirmed. But Does this open up more of an option for Tain to be in a part of a squad without being at fullback, playing in more of a 14 jersey while also carrying another Sam Healy, or you know what I mean? So what's your thoughts around a 6-man bench, Bella, and how that could change a different, positional changes, who can find themselves where? We got Morgan Gannon coming in. Where do we fit him in? What are you thinking with the 6-man bench, bro? And how do you think we could line up with that look?
Yeah, to me, it lessens the value of a utility player,
Yep.
um, and increases the how important positional value is, and knowing your role and how to play it. And I think, to me, if it goes to a 19-person team, a 6-man bench, like Tain for me just slots onto that bench just as a not only outside back cover, but hey, we're 60 minutes deep in this game, we need something fresh, something to change.
Mm,
We need to figure out a way to get around what is going on here, and inject some creativity, inject something, some life into the game. Like, to me, when I think of who can make the most impact in the team coming off the bench with 20 minutes to go, I think of Leka Halasima and I
yep.
think of Tain Tuopiki. So
Yep.
those are the two that I go, man, and Sam Healy's probably up there as well. So I'd say those three are kind of
Mm,
our game changers. Um, and so to me, if we got to a 6-man bench and expanded that out, like, I would carry Tain and Sam, straight away. That would be my first two players that I'd carry on the bench, just because of the way that they the way that they play, the game breaking ability they have. But also, like, imagine bringing imagine being able to bring on Sam Healy and Tain Tuopiki with 20 minutes to go
oh,
against a
brother.
tiring defense. There's we saw Sam Healy through the Cowboys game at Magic Round. Like, he pretty much saved us in that last kind of 10 minutes with, I think he made 11, 12 tackles, and almost scored like a mean as try. And it's things like that where like these players come on and they make an impact offensively, but also they bring life to the defense. They bring,
Mm,
just anything that can inspire the team. Sure, offensive, masterclass from Lecker, breaking through the line and shoving off 3 or 4 players before getting tackled. Like, that's perfect. We're on the front foot, but just
yep.
being strong defensively and having that impact and energy there as well. I think those 3 players are the 3 that you want to see. So Tain slots into that spot if we are going with Chans at fullback.
And that obviously opens up a little bit more of a talking point here too. Obviously you brought up Sam Healy. So coming into towards the end of last year, we saw Tamati Martin hold down that 14 jersey, and I think a lot of Warriors fans are going back and forth right now. What we sort of look like in that 14 jersey of this year, and I believe personally, just going back to the 6-man bench sort of discussion, I think this opens up the ability to carry Tamati Martin, Sam Healy, right? And what does
Mm.
that mean? Whether because obviously we've got the 4-man bench that we're able to use, and I think there's a couple of things that'll open up the 6-man option. So we'll have an 18th man, which I think will be more than likely for me, Tain Tuopiki, or it could be Tamade Martin. One of those other guys had to drop out, and maybe a forward, so a Morgan Gannon's of the world, stuff like that. Is that the ability for us to shoehorn someone like a Sam Healy into that 14 jersey without the worry of? Because I think my main argument for the reason why I kind of do enjoy having Tamade Martin in that 14 jersey is he can cover fullback, center. We saw it last year, hooker, 13. He can come, he plays 6 or 7. He was such a big contributor, I thought, towards the end of last year when we did have those injuries. Even in games like where Luke Metcalf went down, I'm pretty sure from memory, he played hooker, center, and played fullback for a pinch, and then had to go 7 towards the end of that game, all in one game, because Chance went down and he had to push because Luke Metcalf went down. I think that's really valuable to have on your bench. But with the 6-man bench, there's the ability to have him in that 18th man jersey, waiting to go there, but have him, Sam Healy, as more of a game plan option of, that two-man punch of waiting and, setting up the markers, getting ready to go. And then when we need that foot speed for the middle, everything to up tempo, bring Sam Healy on because he's express for the middle. Does that give the ability for us to carry Tamati Martin and Sam Healy? Does that open up options for you? Then maybe Tain dropping back to New South Wales Cup. Like, what's your thoughts there? Where's Tamati sit himself in your sort of team right now for you?
For me, it's hard. Like I think on a four-man bench, we kind of have to, at the moment, go with Timoide.
Yeah.
Um, and it's strictly just because, like he does, like you said, covers so many positions. Um, and for us to then, like, if we're moving to a six-man bench, does it make Timoide's impact a little bit less?
Mm,
Because like Tain can cover the outside backs, Healy can cover like in the nine and stuff, and the only thing we don't have is halves. But then you look, say we have Leotoa playing, or we have CNK playing. Like there are workarounds we have for that. So, or even Morgan Gannon on the bench, he could do a job there. He's done a job in the Super League doing that. So if that's something they're looking at, but um, I don't know. Yeah, I think for me, Healy is like, if it was a six-man bench, Healy is locked in, and
yeah.
I also think Tain is probably locked in as well.
Yeah.
Those would be, like, again, we're going off the assumption that CNK has the starting role, but Tain would be that guy. If Tain has the starting role, I don't think we can. I don't think CNK is probably as effective as Tamide Martin
Mm,
coming off the bench. Just again, like Tamide's space creation is absolutely insane.
yeah.
Like I've never seen anything like it. And I watched a few cup games last year and just seeing like, and again cup again a step below where Tim Mighty is, so it's a little bit tough. But seeing him draw in like two, three defenders before giving a pass, and just the entire like left side is just completely, absolutely free for our winger and center. And so having that ability there, like that would kind of be that conversation. So for me, if CNK has a starting fullback role, you go Tain. But if
mm.
Tain has a starting fullback role, then Tim Mighty is in there.
Yeah, I love the discussion, brother. And let's open this up even more, right? I know we just spoke about Tanner Boyd being in that number 7 jersey to start the season, but let's talk about Haas partnership to start the season. CHT, incredible year from what he had last year. I've had long discussions with the Warriorholic over the offseason, and we discussed who's going to be in that 6 and 7 jersey to start this year. And I know that you're a big man, and I know you love talking about your boy CHT, and what a year that he had. You called it from the start. He should have been the guy there from the start, and he definitely proved himself in that jersey. I think he's on his last year of his contract from what I know, what I've heard, what I know. Are you looking at him as that number 6 for the Warriors of this season? Obviously it would be really incredible, like for me, incredibly harsh for him to lose the jersey in an offseason that, of last year he led us in try assist. He was, I think, a top 10 or top 5 in try assist. No, don't quote me on that in the NRL currently. Defensively, absolutely incredible. Like, are you looking at maybe Tamati in that 6 jersey? I've heard a lot of Warriors fans call for Tamati in that 6 jersey. We got Luke Hanson in New South Wales Cup. We even got the young boy, Jyla Name, who's training the house down from what I've heard. Apparently there was a lot of rumors about Jyla Name maybe starting off in Jersey Flag. Now I'm hearing rumors that maybe he's starting off in New South Wales Cup, so it's already showing that he's got progression there. Who's that 6 jersey pairing up with Tanner Boyd, or do you even have maybe Tanner Boyd in that 6 or 7 jersey? I know we discussed it before, but maybe there's the ability for Tamati and Martin CHT again. There's Hanson sitting there. Like, what's your head? Like, where's your head at? Like, where are you thinking with our halves to start the season?
Yeah, look, first, you know, I know I called CHT. I know. No one, you don't have to keep reminding me. I keep reminding myself just how good I am at knowing CHT. I just wish my TAB account also reflected that too. So, no, look, I think again we've just got to continue with that established partnership of CHT and Tanner Boyd. I think they both would have come out of that year where we could have fallen off. Fallen out of the eight, and no one would have been like, "Yeah, that's bad." Like everyone would have been like, "Oh, clowning the Warriors and things like that." But you lose your
Mm,
number 7, you lose your main prop. Like no one's
yep.
really going to be like, okay, guys, like that was awful what you did.
Yep.
How could you not make the finals? But the fact that they picked it up, they had a few weeks where it wasn't good, and then they found a way to make it back into, make it into the finals, and
Mm-hmm.
use the platform that they had to get through there. So for me, like they would have come into preseason being number one halves pairing.
Yep.
Um, and the only other way it could be done is by having Tim Mighty at six. I think Tanner Boyd has to be locked at seven, just because
Yep.
of the way his kicking game is. Like it's unmatched. And I think again, don't quote me on this because this is last year's stats, but we were the number one left side defense for majority of last season.
Yeah.
And that's not just Roger, that's not just the left wing, that's not just Roger and Adam, that's Roger, Adam, CHT, and
Yep.
Kurt Capewell for the most part. That combination, like it, they got given time to sort it out. They got given a whole preseason saying, Chanel, you are the number six. Let's go. He won that battle last year, or in
Mm.
2024, going into the 2025 season. He won that battle. He then formed that combo, and that left side was never a worry for us. No one was ever like, oh man, Roger defended poorly or Adam defended
Mm.
poorly. Like no one was saying that. And then the way Chanel would take the scruff of the game in the Roosters game,
Yep.
at the start of the season where, he like chipped and chased for himself, which was also like a bomb to the corner, but not really. Like he did that two or three times last season.
He did. Yeah.
Um, and like those are the things where you look and you go, oh, Chanel's having like quite a good season. And
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised as much as I was on the Chanel train, and he was my guy heading into the season, and I was talking about him through 2024 as well. Um, I was surprised. He was, yeah, again, top five of try assists for a long time last year.
Yep.
Um, and I think that, again, another year with that left side, and like I know you said it's the last year of his contract, but I mean, it could be that he has a stellar year this year, and it's almost like we can't lose that. We can't let that go.
Yep.
But if I was to look ahead post Chanel, PC era, which I hope is in 10 years. But if I was to look at, say, next year, maybe we don't have Chanel anymore, or maybe Chanel's injured. I would look at Tamaiti to start, but
Mm-hmm.
then Luke Hanson is a freak.
Yeah, bro.
Luke Hanson is an absolute freak. I watched more New South Wales Cup last year than I did any year before that, and watching the way he plays and the toughness he has, but also like he's deceptively quick. Like he's a small man, but he's
Mm-hmm.
he's built. But he is so quick, and he's just like backing up everyone all the time. So I
Yep.
wouldn't, if we were looking at next year and we had no Chanel and we had Luke at seven, and we're looking at who can partner them in the halves. I think it would be a big battle between Luke Hanson and Tim Mighty there.
Yeah, I love the Luke Hanson love that we got going on, bro. Because he's been a guy that's been in our system for a little while. When I first saw him, I kind of didn't see it really. Like, I'll be completely honest, it took me a little bit. I think the main part where I kind of started to click into Luke Hanson as in being like a proper option is probably the start of this year when Webby was kind of making it known. It's like, hey, no, we got Luke Hanson there. And I was like, all right, so Webby's really seeing something out of him that I'm probably not cluing in onto, or not taking as much notice, because when I first saw him, it wasn't the I don't know what you call it. He didn't really punch you in the face with his ability, but
Mm.
the more you start to look into his game, the more you start to get a bit more excited about what he's got. I think when I was watching him Jersey flag last year to start the season, where he was next to Jet Cleary, so he was playing under 21s, guys, for no one that knows. The difference that he showed of class in Jersey flag showed the ability of like, okay, so he's too good for this grade. Like, we need him out and just playing New South Wales Cup when he gets a chance. And obviously with all the injuries that we had, he got his ability to play in the six jersey in Cup. And there was moments of last year, probably majority of last year, where he was playing in that six jersey, where I was like, he's too good for Cup. Like, he's tearing teams apart. He's got that deceptive little dummy and go on that left edge, nice little right hand palm straight through to the teeth of the edge back row. And he's popping up in moments. He showed it in the grand final of last year as well. Like, I'm a lot more. I'm coming around to like, all right, I can see him as more of an option, and I'm really excited to see his progression of this year. I'm guessing he'll be starting in that six jersey at New South Wales Cup for me at the moment. Kind of just putting a bow into it. I think Chanel probably does have the starting option there in that six jersey for for NRL because as I said before, it's too harsh to take it away from him. One of the better defensive sixes in the competition.
Mhm.
I just looked it up. He was top 10 by the end of the season in try assists with 22, beating out Jerome Hughes, beating out Nathan Cleary, beating out Jerome Luai, beating out Adam Reynolds, beating out, like, there's a lot of incredible
Were
superstars that
they?
he had more try scores. Exactly, right? So he had a great year. I think the thing with Chanel, too, what gets me caught up with Chanel sometimes is, not say sometimes he gets it done in most unusual way circumstances, right? But the main thing is Chanel gets it done. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like probably sometimes it doesn't look the prettiest in the world, but he gets it done. He always pops up in the right moments. Like we're talking about a guy that pulled off a scorpion kick, in junior Kiwis, right? Like we're talking about a guy that just pulled
That's
something
a
out of nothing,
throwback, mate.
bro, and it just happens, right? So hopefully, I'm putting all my love and my heart into Chanel this year, and hopefully he can step up and get a re-signing of a deal, and hopefully has the year that we all hope he is, because I think that connection between Luke Metcalf and Chanel is good enough to get it done and to continue to grow. I think that if we have Tanner and Chanel, I think that's where it's a little bit more of like we need someone with that high attacking upside, and that would be more of a Luke Metcalf type of player. So that's probably where this food for thought is coming more into, like Tanner Boyd and Tamate Martin, as we touched on before. Tamate's got that ability of just stripping teams apart and opening up the game. Luke Hanson's got that really strong running game. You can kind of see it there too. Chanel's just this really incredible, consistent defender that pops up with something out of nothing. He's got a great running game. I wish he kind of used it a little bit more in times as well, but I think the more confidence he gets, the more he can show that ability. Another guy I want to bring up to this sort of thought as well is a guy I kind of touched on just before, but Jai Lanane, a new signing that we brought into this year. He was in the Knights top 30. There was a lot of chat around Jai Lanane. Unfortunately, had an ACL injury that kept him out of the Knights sort of plans in that period. They signed Dylan Brown, so he comes over to us. Apparently training the house down as well. I did say it a little bit earlier on. He started off like he was going to be in flag, but that now has jumped into New South Wales Cup from all the rumors I'm hearing. That's all rumors, guys. But have you seen much of Jai Lanane, bro? How long do you believe that it'd probably take for him to get into these sort of discussions? Because everything that I see out of him personally, bro, especially watching him in all the junior grades and that coming through, I see so many similarities to Luke Metcalf. I'm just seeing it all over again. A guy that hasn't been able to get given a chance. He's got incredible high-end speed. A guy that can, pick up those moments where, he's just sniff out the little broken line defense, you bust
Hope
his
it's
way
just me.
through. Oh, bro, just
Um,
incredible, man. But Jai Lanane, what have you known about him?
oh, there we
How long
go.
will it take before he can get into those sort of discussions?
I think I'm back. I don't know if
There
I
you are.
I left. Um,
Jai Lanane,
well,
my
Jai
brother. Jai
Lanane, yeah,
Lanane.
absolutely. I love Jai Lanane. I heard everything you said as well, so I'll just
Beautiful.
keep going on that. No, I obviously, I wasn't too much of an avid watcher of the Knights, Jersey Flag, SG Ball teams over the last few years. But watching the highlights and just watching the way he can play and the way he moves. That's something that I'm really really interested in. For like just that again that game breaking ability, right? And if we can get him into the cup side this year and get him playing consistently in there, it's going to be like incredible for his development. And it could even like again, if we're talking 2027 because it's 2026 this year,
Yep.
my brain is that is not okay. But if it's 2027, we're looking at it, and Jai Lanane has had an incredible year in
Mm,
2026, and he is
mm,
tearing it up in cup. He is. It looks already a step above. If training the house down. Like, why not? Like,
yeah.
why can't we have him there? Like, if the only thing that would worry me a little bit is him and Luke being quite similar.
Yep.
um, but then again, like the way Luke is developing, is he gonna develop more into that game manager? Obviously, still with his speed and with everything like that, but develop even more into that game manager and just let
Agreed.
Jai be that enigma that Luke was in 2023, like that
Mm,
kind of parallel there, and have Luke be, this game manager, but still, almost 2023 Sean Johnson. I mean, Luke's his own player, but having that as a player comp, even turning into a Jerome Hughes, where Jerome Hughes manages the game, and he plays the way, kind of like Luke plays. They play very direct football. They're running the ball as much as they can, but they're still, kicking the ball long. They're still ordering the troops around. And then Cam Munster just kind of, on his own wavelength does whatever, and everyone just kind of follows him. And it seems to work out. Like, could that be the Jai Lanane spot next
mm.
year, in 2027?
That's where I'm kind of looking at it, bro. Like I'm seeing the same sort of wavelength as you. Like I'm very, very high on this guy, and I believe that there is an opportunity towards the end of the season if we do look at it, him being that guy of like what Luke Metcalf was, due to a couple of injuries, steps into the jersey, becomes the six, and then we all fall in love, and he can kind of become that six that we've been probably. I think a lot of fans like one of those playmakers we've been looking for as well. We saw that with Luke Metcalf. We've seen it. Like, can we see it all over again with Jai Lanane? I believe so. Like, I'm a massive fan of this kid. I think he's got a ton of potential, and I don't want to put too much hype into him. I probably already have. But I'll be watching every New South Wales Cup game or flag game, whatever I can see out
Oh,
of Jai Lanane this year, and just see what he can produce, I reckon.
is it still on Bar Sports TV or whatever? Bar TV Sports?
Yeah, that's it, guys. Yeah, Bar Sports TV, guys. If you want to rejoin Bar Sports TV all over again, I'm going to. I'm probably going to take the year subscription, do it the cheaper way,
Yeah.
and get into some footy. I've got to do it by this weekend, guys, because the junior footy is coming up very shortly. Just quickly, bro. Mount Mentum. Oh, brother, I think you changed your name, my bro. Anyway, Webby said Jai is faster than Luke. I can see it. I can
I
see it, bro.
mean, that's insane, to be honest, because like you think of Luke and like the speed he does possess, and obviously he's coming back from an ACL and things like that. But
Yeah.
um, if Jai can put a bit of weight on, a bit of muscle mass, and still
Hmm.
keep that speed, like I don't know, man, that could be an exciting halves pairing in the future.
Incredible, bro. Yeah. I think that we could have the two quickest halves in the competition at one point, and
Mm.
that will come a little bit later, guys. Obviously, we've got to see his development, but that's something I'm really excited for. Tans again, what grade is Inch playing in? From all the rumors I've heard, he's starting off in Jersey Flag. He's probably going to take the 6 jersey in Jersey Flag, so that's under 21. So he's definitely a guy that we're all waiting to see. Come into this year, how he's going to go, because obviously all the wraps around him. I'm excited to see him personally because I haven't seen too many highlights. I've seen just the highlights that have been everyone else has been seeing. So I'm not a big avid, schoolboy rugby, New Zealand schoolboy rugby watcher. But do you have anything more on Harry Inch? Have you seen much more of him than probably what I have, brother?
I don't know. I'm not much of a rugby watcher myself. I can't
Mm,
can't claim to be like league is my
yeah.
sport. But from all accounts, he was in and around the Crusaders top squad. Obviously, like wasn't playing for them, but was in around the training, and I think he was with the Tasman. Like so when we go into our national provincial cup, which is kind of after Super Rugby, towards like the end of the NRL season, um, the NPC is all of the regions of New Zealand, and so
Oh yeah.
he's kind of in the Tasman, which is kind of like the top of the South Island, and kind of down the west side, so opposite Canterbury. So
Okay.
he's from around there, like he's from Nelson, which is the top of the South Island there. So,
Yep.
but New Zealand Rugby were not happy to lose him. I know that for sure. They tried to start putting in, different clauses into people's contracts about breaking them to go to rugby league. So,
Oh wow.
they're threatened by the Warriors, and why shouldn't you be? Like Warriors are a force over here now.
100%, bro. I'm excited to see the more, sort of talent we can bring over to rugby league. Especially, that's the one big thing about this whole journey as a Warriors fan. Previously, we haven't embedded rugby league systems into high schooling and stuff like that. And now we've got like proper development systems going in there. We're finding kids a little bit younger. We're finding kids, we're giving them more tools to become better rugby league players and rugby union players, because there is still a difference between the two sports. I think that's why I think Harry's going to take a little bit of time just to get a difference out of it, but his skill set still shows a lot of what you need to be a good rugby league player. So that's why I'm really excited about it. Decent sized body, runs fairly well. He's got the incredible passing skills that you get from rugby union because they are very technical based. So I'm very excited to see the future out of that.
Good kicker as well, I've heard.
Good kicker.
Yeah, like good kicking game. So I again don't know how that translates to rugby league as much, but I mean, everyone in rugby, they just kick the ball to each other half the time, I think. So
Well, that's the one thing I also been noticing too with the the junior grades. We don't have an out and out halfback that I'm looking at that Kiwi halfback. I'm looking at, for the period of just the Warriors in general, right? Like we had Stacey passed the mantle to Sean. Like who's that next passing the baton onto? At early days when Chanel first came through, I thought that was going to be the Chanel sort of passing baton on and continue on that way. But looking through all the other juniors that we have currently right now, I think that's the one thing that the Warriors are still, and the Kiwis are still lacking. Like, you look at the Kiwis at the end of the season, probably going a little bit off contract, off script here, but like Jerome Hughes is only getting older. Obviously, the chat would be Dylan Brown can step out in a 7 jersey, but I still don't like Dylan Brown as a 7. I like him as a 6, as we all saw in the Pacific Championships. Like, who is that next number 7 coming up? Can it be Harry Inch? Can it be? Are we seeing someone that could pop out of nowhere? Could it be Jet Cleary? Could he pledge his allegiance to be a Kiwi? Who knows?
I think he was born here, right?
A Kiwi. So, yeah. So can he go that way, right? But I think that's the one thing that I think Kiwi fans should be looking out for is who's going to be this next halfback, and could it be Harry Inch? Like, there's the ability for that to be that.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. Like, I don't know who we have coming through SG Ball and that at the moment. But like, could it be one of those boys just keep pushing through? I mean, like, I don't know how ready the team is now, but we've got, I mean, Ioka is down there. He's kind of, I think, a 6, more than a 7. But it could even be, younger than that, and we just don't have them in there yet. I mean, could it be someone that's in another position at the moment, like a Jerome Hughes, started as a fullback? Could we see someone transition in that way into being a 7 out of maybe need for the Warriors or need for the team that they play for? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what we have coming through, because obviously there's some big reps on some of the boys coming through, but not a lot of halves. And I know halves are kind of the hardest one to get right. Like, everyone can, I feel stink saying this, but everyone can be a winger, like if you run hard and you can catch the ball and you can step, like, cool. Like Lecker could train for a season and play on the wing, like I would feel comfortable with him there, and there's always 2 wingers in a team, 2 centers, 2 props, 2 second rowers, and there's 1 9, 1 fullback, 1 7, so it's like a little bit different there. So like, I think once we get our systems established here in New Zealand, like properly, we'll start to see those guys come through more frequently, but it'll just take a lot more time, I think.
I'll have no more winger slander from you tonight, all right?
I did that to spite you, because obviously grew up as a winger, or as a hooker, then a winger, right?
Yeah, hooker, and they kept going outwards further and further. I went centre, winger, bench, played a little bit of 6, played some horrible bench, crowd, cheerleader, one of those ones. Shout out to Marcelo Montoya and his missus, But no, we got a couple of boys there that are looking pretty nice. Like, looking across, like, other teams, like you got Harmy Loza playing for Newcastle. He's more of a 6 that I see. Then you got Lorenzo Telataina. I'm pretty sure he can pledge for being a Kiwis as well. But again, he's another 6. Like, I'm trying to think of a big number 7, like a good number 7. We got, even in our grade, like we got Ashton. It's no one's stepping off, no one's stepping up for me and looking at, like, yeah, he's the guy, he's the mantle. Maybe it is Jet Cleary, who knows? Jet versus Nathan in the future, that'd be crazy. But we can't continue to put so much weight on those little shoulders of Jet Cleary's, man. Like, it's getting crazy. But
guys, he's not going to play NRL this year, right? He's not starting 7.
All right, guys, continue to get through the chat here. The chat's been going crazy, guys. Thank you so much for this first show back on All You Can Eat Warriors. Absolutely incredible. Jazzy with a question here. Speaking of wingers, bro, can you speak on Hazen Mellors, please? So, yeah. A couple of different things that I've heard from Hazen in the off-season, that he's been training really, really well. I was speaking to Waraholic the other day, and he was saying that attacking-wise, I think it was Waraholic, but yeah, attacking-wise, absolutely incredible. He's just trying to embed himself into our defensive systems and stuff currently right now. He's an incredibly big body for a winger. Like, he's back to that older style, like, mold of winger in a way, but highly athletic as well. Very good in the air. I know the Rabbitohs are... like, not stink to lose him, but he was very highly touted in the Rabbitohs system to be the next winger up and coming. He was in a top 30 position when we got him as well. So keep an eye on him in New South Wales Cup. I like him. I think he's got a lot of good ability. It's just whether... For me at the moment, I'm kind of conflicted in the sense of like, where's the NRL winger going to go these days? We saw the Zach Lomaxes and the Xavier Coates and stuff of the world, which I think is a bit more of Hazen's sort of mold. But Hazen's still got like the body shape of like a sort of like an Ed Cossey type as well. I wouldn't put him in Ed Cossey's sort of realm, but I think more so to that, you know, high leaping, you know, lanky sort of winger. But have you seen much of Hazen Mellors, bro? And what's your kind of thoughts on Hazen at the moment? I'm excited to see New South Wales Cup, see how he goes. I know, as I said before, highly touted, but what do you know from Hazen?
I think if I was to player comp him, he'd be like a fast Ken Maumalo. Like big body, like athletic but you know, fast. And I remember we had the Was Up meetup at Mount Smart. It was the Titans game, and I think the Rabbitohs were
Yep.
their cup side was playing our cup side, and I'm pretty sure Mellors was in that game, and I think we absolutely trounced them.
Yeah. It was
We absolutely
60 or
destroyed
something.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And I was, you know, as much as it was great being inside with all of us, you know, you're like looking out at the TV, like, oh, did they score again? You know, um, but I think I think he scored a try or two that day. And like every time we got a runaway, which was quite a few times, you know, he was there, you know, chasing us down and almost, you know, probably saved a couple tries at some point. So I haven't seen a lot of him, but again, the chatter you hear out of the team is quite exciting.
Yep.
And look, again, I think so. He's a left-sided winger, and
Yep.
so to me, like obviously, I think hot take, this might be Rogers last year. I think we all know that. I don't know if he'll extend for another year after this, but you know,
Agree.
could it be that that he's fighting with AKP on that left side next year, and maybe there's a free run for the right side on whoever impresses in cup, or you know, with Dallin and
Yep.
things like that, or you know, if someone can play both left and right wing, which is again a little bit less frequent nowadays, just the way people are taught to carry the ball and things like that. Like it does require like quite a bit of adjustment, but
Yep.
yeah, that'll be an interesting thought in 2027. And again, he could end up like, again, God forbid, we have some injuries this year in our outside backs, which has been the thing that's plagued us for the past however many years. But like maybe he can get a couple of games.
Yep.
Maybe, you know, if he can get right defensively, maybe he gets ready. Maybe he can get there. But to me, that would mean we'd have to have at least 2 winger injuries,
Yeah.
and then maybe even a centre injury as well to keep Adam Pompey away from that wing as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, we saw that
So
last year too, so
yeah,
that's a great little option. Like, you know, very much like I agree with you that Kemo Marlow, but probably more athletic sort of mold, like a David Fusatua. I wouldn't say he's like all the way over Fus, but like, you know, sort of in that type of mold. I'm excited. I'm so sure I've seen highlights of him playing center as well, so he's got the ability to play the two. I'm so sure of it. Again, don't quote me on that, but from my memory, I remember seeing him play center at least once or twice. So he's got all the ability to play many different positions there too. I'm just excited to see where he places up, you know, how his defense goes, obviously in New South Wales Cup. And then, as you said, he's in that. It's good to see that the Warriors have bought someone like this to where, we've obviously let go of, Gossi and we let go of Talfa and stuff like that, that we have, some guys that when we lose someone like
C22.
Dow, Setu too, yeah, when we lose those guys, there's another guy that can step up. But I agree with you as a sentiment of, I think it will take a couple of injuries before we maybe see him in first grade, but we'll definitely see him in New South Wales Cup this year. I know that for a fact. Apparently he is training with the Cup team currently right now. So very, very excited to see the potential out of this kid. As I said before, all I heard was very, very talented, and the Rabbitohs, hating that they lost this one. So excited to see the potential out of this one.
Also,
Obviously,
quickly,
a couple of,
just
yeah.
I was just
No,
gonna
you go.
quickly shout out Setu too as well, because like what I'm hearing out of the Dragons is that he's snagged that one of the wing spots as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, I mean, they've even this weekend they've got Farley playing in the centres instead of on the wings. Like it was kind of between him and two for one of the wings and Tuipulotu for the other. So I mean, if Setu two can snag that wing spot, I mean, like he's one that I think we may, like, depending on how our wingers end up, may regret losing.
Yep.
But he's one that always seems to end up back with us. I think he's left twice
Yeah,
and ended back with us twice.
he went to the Melbourne system. He was at North Sydney. I'm pretty sure he went to North Sydney, or was it
Was it
Burleigh?
Brisbane Tigers?
He was Brisbane Tigers, sorry. Yeah, it was Brisbane
Mm,
Tigers. He went there, and then Melbourne didn't really use him in any sort of way, so he came back home, and now he's gone out again. So
mm.
hopefully the Dragons do get because we all see his ability in New South Wales Cup. If anyone tunes in week in, week out of Cup, he's been one of our stronger talents. I know Levon was a massive fan of him. He's got a bit more of that Sione Katoa type of mold of winger. But the Dragons can definitely use something like that at the moment. Him and Farley would be really good. Yeah, Tarn saying,
Yeah,
Farley and him getting started this weekend would be good to see.
yeah. Shout out Situ. We miss you, bro.
I think the other one that's a little bit of a missing one as well, someone I was high of when I first kind of tuned into our SG ball a couple of years back when I was streaming on YouTube, was Montu Pasikala.
Mm,
He's apparently getting a really good run in New South Wales Cup at the moment as well, being the opposite winger to Hazen. He's a forgotten name, I believe. And I think a lot of it's come down to, like, I know that last year, I think it was last year or the year prior. Last year with the Sharks game, he came on and didn't have his greatest effort there in that trial game. And I think a lot of Warriors fans maybe looked at him, kind of like put a line for him a little bit there and probably forgot about him. But he's come back off of injury from memory, came back later on in the season, played a little bit of flag, played really, really well. He's a very highly talented, played fullback in our SG ball season, and then moved over to, playing more so in the wings. And I think he's solely just looked at as a winger. So keep an eye on him as well, guys. Definitely talented. And the other one we're just waiting to see, hopefully he can get his injuries in check and stuff, is Sio Carly. Obviously we all know Sio. He just needs injuries to be out of, like, unfortunately, there's one thing I've always worried about with Sio. He just always seems to find pick up injuries, and that happened towards the end of last year as well. But yeah, guys, that really, really good chat. Appreciate you guys coming through as always. Towards the end of the show now, brother, let's quickly go through. I know, as you said this before, this could all change from what we discussed just before. So, guys, if you watch the show and then next minute you hear, oh, wait, you talked about Tain and CNK at fullback, and then you put Roger at fullback in this Predictor 17. What is going on? Don't shoot us for it. But no, give us your Predictor 17. It is 17 currently right now, but we'll maybe talk about six-man bench a little bit later, for round number one. So take into account Luke Metcalf's out. Barnett should be back. So what's your Predictor 17 that you're going with right now? Rolling 17.
I think for me, oh man, I even want to go back on what I said before just because of how excited I am on Tain. I'm still undecided on fullback. Tain and CNK are neck and neck. It just depends, like, how Tain can come back from injury there.
Yeah.
Again, hurt himself over preseason. So, I mean, he seems to be back fine running and things like that. But I think the trials will be, it'll be a massive shootout for those two. But for now, I'm gonna put CNK there. I know I'll change my mind by 10 p.m. this in New Zealand, so that'll be good. On the wings, I have Roger on the right side,
Yep.
and I have AKP on the left.
Yep.
in the centres, I would have Rocco Berry. I think they just went into the same shoulder injury and kind of
Cleaned it
like a
all
clean
out.
out, kind of. Yeah. So I
Yep.
don't think it's another injury. I think it's just that it was giving him some grief, and they just went back in
Mm,
and did another surgery. So I think he's meant to be out for the first few rounds. Which, bro, Rocco is so unlucky. Like
I
he's
know.
probably like when he played through the 2023 season, one of my favorite players of that season.
Agreed.
So underrated, and like his defense is immaculate. So he
Mm,
would be my first centre picked if he was healthy.
yep.
But I think it'll be Leotoa on the right, Pompey on the left, in the
Yep.
halves, CHT and Tanner Boyd. Um,
Yep.
Front row, assuming Barney's back, Barnett, Egan, and Fish.
Yep.
In the second row to start the season, I have Capewell on the left and Murata Niukore on the right, with Aaron Clark in 13.
Yep.
14, Temaide, 15, Dimitrik, 16, I've got Jacko Ford at the moment,
Yep.
and 17, Leka Halasima.
Ooh,
And then 18th man would be Tain, I guess.
I'm pretty much nailed on pretty like exactly what you got. So yeah, for me, I got CNK at fullback. I totally agree. I think that he's probably just edged it at the moment, but it does come down to how's Tain come back? How's he training right now? I believe I'm right there with you. I do believe he's neck and neck from what Webby said towards the end of last year. He is looking for a point of difference now. He's given all the opportunities and a chance to the starting squad that he's got. He's a loyal coach, as we all know, but I do believe he's able to make changes. We have seen him prior, and I think there's all the chance that he could do it this year. My wingers are Roger and AKP currently as we speak. AKP and Dallin are interchangeable for me at the moment. I
Mm-hmm.
could see us going down the route of AKP work himself from New South Wales Cup and beating out Dal. But I can also see just from the point of difference in how the chat is from the off season and from what I've heard, AKP jumping Dallin to start the season, and we'll see how that plays out from there. My senses are definitely the same as you. I'm going Bompy and Ali Leotai at the moment. Just, I'm hoping Rocco comes back healthy and ready to go. But Ali's just as, playing incredible as well. I'm sure he's going to do incredible. I do love a bit of Rocco, but he's just got to get those things in check, man. It sucks, man. But
Yeah.
Halves, CHT, and Tanner, right there with you, pretty much top to bottom, as you said. All the way to Aaron Clark at 13. And my bench, I'm going Sam Healy in that 14 jersey.
Ooh,
I've been
I
going back
like
and
it.
forth for this. I was pretty sure. I think Webby will go to Mighty Martin in that 14 jersey, but personally myself, I think that Healy might be able to get the chance, and that's only open up because of maybe the 6-man bench and see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Then you got to have Jackson Ford there. I think, a guy that I thought we heavily missed towards the end of last year, coming back, due to his suspension and what he played in that Panthers game. I thought that he was incredible as well. Dimitrik's got to be there, and I think Jacob Laban's got to be there as well. I think it'll take a little bit before we get to see Morgan Gannon. I think Morgan Gannon will start from Cup, and I think Eddie Edemir and Tanner Smith and all those sort of boys will start from Cup, and that Cup side's going to
Mm.
be elite with all those names
I was
there.
going to say, do you want to make your cup team?
Cup at the moment, from the top of my head, would be Tain Chuapiki starting off in Cup. If we got him an 18th man, then I'm going to go Jeremiah Lamana at that
Mm-hmm.
fullback jersey. There's still obviously Geronimo Doyle as well, so maybe. Wingers would be Hazen Mellors and Dallin if he doesn't get that starting role of start the season. Then centers will be Siokali and would be, I feel like I'm forgetting
You got
someone right now.
Putoko?
Yeah, Kalis Potoko, that's it. Yeah, he's been training in center and off season. Great, thank you for that, mate.
Of
My
course,
name
of
line
course.
slipping me.
It's all,
Um,
you've got the same team as me so far. So
I'm going Hanson and Linane in the
okay.
6 and 7. I think Jet's still able to play. It'll probably be Jet and Linane actually.
What with where's Hanson?
Yeah, that's a tricky one, eh?
I
Because
think
I've
they
heard
might.
rumors that Linane's playing Cup, but again, I could be
Cleary
wrong.
is
I think he's 21 on the nose.
25th. Oh wait, no, hang on.
Oh God.
Oh, I thought that was his birthday, but I got that wrong. I don't know. He must be. He must be. Oh, he was born on the 2nd of April 2005, so he turns
Mm.
21 this year.
So 21 this year. So he's still able
So
to play
yeah,
flag.
start the year in flag. I don't know. Does that mean he can stay the year in flag? Obviously, you don't
Ye-
want him to, but
no. It's going to be tricky how they work that out. There's so much depth there, but I'm going to go, I'm going to go Jet Cleary and Luke Hanson to start off in Cup.
mhm.
But again, guys, I want to let you guys know there is rumours going around that Jai Linane's in Cup. So whether we fit him in somehow, I'm not too sure how that works. But
Guy is also 20.
yeah, so he can play flag as well. Because that was
Yeah.
a rumour he was going to start playing flag this season next to Harry Inch. But we'll see how that plays out. Then we're going to go front row would be Tennisdale Smith. And I think we're going to throw someone like... Who do I have with... I had a team list actually prior.
Do you have like Siu Salalilo, or do you have
I was looking at
Eddie?
CO. I was looking at Eddie. Oh, where's my Warrior Holics? Here we go. So I went Tennisdale Smith and I got Eddie Irumia Toyaba. I think we've been playing around with playing him as middle more so than anything. So I think he might start off in that number 10 jersey. My edge back row is going to be Kalis Fatialofa and would be Morgan Gannon.
Yep.
I think he'll probably start more so in edge, but make his way to the middle. He's going to be like one of those sort of players. 13, I had Jason Salalilo. He's played a little bit of 13, great player. Or you also got Paya Sikuvea. Then my bench would be Makea Talfa, Rodney Tui Bulotuvea, and Bea Sikuvea. The other number 9 too. Actually, Micah Talfa will probably go 9. And the other 9 or 14 jersey. Ooh, that could be Montu Pasicala. What do you reckon?
I think I put Doyle in 14 there.
Geronimo Doyle. That's
Yeah,
another name there.
he was great off the bench for us last year. I have a sneaky feeling that you've missed Jacob Laban or Leka Halasima in one of these two teams.
Yeah, so I would have Leka, Laban. Yeah, brother. So I think I dropped back Laban.
Yeah,
And Leka
have
will
him
play
in second row and then
that
have
sucks,
Morgan Gannon
man.
at 13.
Yeah. So what did my bench go in NRL? It was gonna go
You said
14
Sam
Healy,
Ford.
Ford, Dimitrik, Leka, I think. Leka will beat out Laban for me.
That'll have to be, yeah. And then so Laban will start the year in Cup in second row with Fatialofa. And then you'll just chuck Gannon at 13.
Gannon at 13 then.
And then Siu Salalilo back to the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I have there as well.
Fuck, that's stiff as on Laban though. Like I think Laban made big steps last year too. So this is where we sit. Like it's incredible to see the depth that we have, but you know what I mean? Like the 6-man bench can open up an option there for Jacob.
Yeah, definitely. I think Jacob or Morgan, right? Like that's kind of the where you play there. I think also for me that's why Temaide starts at 14 because Sam Healy then is 9 for the Cup side. I think just literally making numbers work and things like that. And then Makaya Tafua on the bench at 14 and then have Geronimo Doyle as 17. I don't think we need, because like our forwards that we have down there are so much above Cup. You know, we have Tanner, Eddie, Kalis and Jacob and Morgan, like all of them I think are above Cup. So I think we're going to have another good year in Cup. I just think that like we only need to carry, Siu Salalilo and maybe one more middle on the bench, just because of how much of a motor all of them have. And that's why we can probably carry a Geronimo Doyle as opposed to, another big man.
Yeah, and then like obviously when we go through more of our junior grades, we've got someone like a Bishop Neal that's getting close to stepping up as well. Like it's crazy. Like I saw a question a little bit earlier, the chances of who could be a debut of this year. And I got the same question when I was with Warrior Holic on a stream. And I kind of was thinking, I was like, I don't see anyone really debuting for us this year. Like I'd love to see Kalis debut, but I just Kalis is still behind Eddie, Tanner, Jacob. Like the list goes, like I think Gannon and him are probably fighting it out, right? Like there's still a list of boys before we get to someone like Kalis.
So would that be like a round 27 debut? So we're comfortably top 4 or comfortably top 8. Like Possibly. That's that round 27 debut.
Mm,
Even like I can imagine around 27 forward back of what we've just listed there of Tanner Smith, Edimir Toyava,
yep.
Jackson Ford in there, starting as opposed to off the bench, and then having Sam Healy play a full 80 and things like that, just so
Mm,
that they are getting that experience and having those debuts. And I know that's not like or it is a real debut, but it's not like a debut that we're talking about. But
yeah.
again, the only ones I can really see, I could maybe see like a Kalis Putoko if
Yeah.
if our centers get demolished.
Mm,
But then again, you'd probably go, RTS back in the centers or CNK back in
and
the
Dallin
centers
on a wing.
before, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, before you're getting there. So again, it's just like, God forbid any injuries. Maybe we're only seeing Morgan Gannon as like a tester to see how he goes, kind of thing.
Yeah. We're in such a good
What's
position, but it makes these things really hard to discussion, like, top 17. Cause
absolutely.
like, I can see other top 17s go, yeah, I like that. Like, but like, you
Mm.
also go, oh, fuck, you're missing this guy. You're missing this guy. Like, how are we going to make it work? Like, even just the halves discussion just then, like, I love Jet. I think Jet's an incredible player, but I also love Jai. Like, I think Jai's got a high end potential as well. More so as in a six jersey, but there's obviously, we could play him in the seven as well. But then you got Luke Hanson that we all just discussed before how good Luke Hanson is. So one of these guys are going to be playing Jersey Flag next to Harry Inch. Like, that's a crazy prospect.
To me, I'd say that will be Jai Lanane, just
Yep.
to like lead that team around,
Yeah.
because he has so much experience coming over from Aussie,
Yep.
and coming over from that Aussie grades. Like, as much as you'd go like, oh, Jet Cleary has had like a year here already. He's already kind of established himself in cup.
Mm,
So like, it's hard to then go, hey, we've got Jai Lanane, we're actually gonna promote him in front of
jump
you.
in. Exactly.
Yeah, like, to me, like, as much as I'm sure Jai Lanane is a great player, like, for him to be able to teach Harry Inch for you know half a flag season until we get to the point where Healy's up in the main side as a mainstay, or like one of the halves are injured, or something like that, or Egan gets injured or something like that, and
Mm,
you've got Healy up there, and then Jai Lanane comes onto the bench and then comes on 50 minutes through the game
yep.
in the middle, or you move Luke Hanson into the middle or something like that and have Jai Lanane, and they just rip up again. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, I think I'm so high on this cup team
Yeah.
that, like, even our SG ball team, our flag team, like, I don't know. Like, obviously, I'm not in the know with all the other clubs, but like, the fact that we're going, oh man, that guy has to play cup, or oh, that guy has to be in flag just because of the two in front of him. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous.
I know,
That's
bro. That's
outrageous.
And like, guys, like, again, like, I apologize. It probably was an incredible viewing of me trying to go from my head as to like, who am I missing out and all that. But that's what, like, the position we're in. Like, I didn't have a predicted team list here to go off of. That was just going off the top of the dome. Me and Joshua were just going back and forth. So that's the thing, is like, that's how hard it is, in the sense of like, we got to structure out the who's in what positions, who's going to be playing here and here. There's so many different ways that it could go this year, and it's honestly incredible to see that. I think we both agree center's probably the position that we're all looking at, as like, yeah, that's our lowest bit of stocks, but we still got guys like, if Rocco stays healthy, and then we got Ali, he's more than likely one of those two are going to be playing cup this year because Bompy had such a good year, right? So
Mm,
if all those guys are healthy, one of Ali or Barry are going to be playing cup this year, which is crazy. And we
outrageous.
lost talent over the weekend, over the off season, right? The
We
Panthers
lost
pretty
so
much
many
stripped apart.
players.
Yeah, we had Kalani go. We had no, that wasn't even meant to be a pun there. So shout
Yeah.
out to Kalani. But nah, we had Freddie Lussick go. We've had Tom Arle go. We had Toby Crosby go. Like, that's
Bunty,
the position we're in.
Ed
Bunty gone.
Forsey,
Yep.
Tafua,
And,
Grant Topher, sorry.
yep, bro.
Like,
Just.
there's like seven players
Mhm.
who were all mainstays in the cup side, if not pushing to go to the top, to the first grade team. I mean, like,
I know.
Bunty's played what, like 100 NRL games,
Yeah, and
like, and we're just like,
all the
Yeah,
rumor of
right.
him at the Tigers, bro, is like, the Tigers are loving him at the moment. He may even get a big role at the Tigers, which is great for the Tigers and great for Bunty. I love Bunty to death, but like, he unfortunately he was just a cup guy for us last year. So that's how good our cup team was, and still, theoretically could be even better this year, which is wild.
Yeah. Well, I think the difference between like us and the Panthers, right, is like obviously the Panthers for the last however many years have had players from their top grade
Mm,
stolen away, so they've been able to blood through those younger guys. We're not
yep.
quite at the stage where our top grade guys are being stolen away for money they can't refuse
Yeah.
or positions they can't refuse, right?
Yep.
So we're at a position where teams are coming and they're going, well, the top guys are almost there, but they're all so committed to this project that we're not going to be able to strip any of them away. Like they're not going to be able to get Dimitrik or Lecker, or like these guys that have grown up in the system for the last few years because they're so committed and they're so pushing to get
Mm-hmm.
this top spot. Like I can't even see them taking like an Eddie, or a Tanner Smith, those guys, because like a Jacob Laban, because they are also just having such a good time together,
Yep.
pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and knowing that Capewell and New Corte and these guys are on
On
the
their
way
last
out,
stand.
and so that there's gonna be spots for them. And so teams are going, well, okay, we can't go for the top guys, like the top grade side. We can't even go for the top of the cup team. So we're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to go for the like next bit down, like
Yep.
under that. Who I mean, yeah, they took Kalani, who was our captain and things
Great
like that, but
player.
he wasn't someone that was going to make
First
the
grade,
the
no.
top squad, yeah. And so they're taking these guys, and these guys are going to flourish. They're going to be incredible, and I'm
Yep.
so excited to be able to go. Man, they came from our system. Like we haven't been
I
able to
know.
say that in so long without being like, oh yeah, well that's biting us in the ass,
Yeah,
like
exactly. And that's the whole thing too, is like a good game in rugby league, a good game in New Zealand just is so much better for rugby league. And all these teams are going to benefit from the systems that we put into place. But the Kiwis, going to benefit towards the end of the year, with all these players. Like, who knows what storylines can come out of the season, how those guys do go. And, it's just, I love talking
it's
Warriors
sad,
again, bro.
but
It's
yeah.
so good to see. It's so good to be here and talk Warriors again, brother. But quickly before we go, bro, we'll wrap this thing up for our first show of the year, my man. We'll talk a little bit of the junior grades coming, first week of junior grades, because we aren't watching any Warriors football other than junior grades this weekend, guys. Next weekend is going to be the first weekend of trials for the Warriors. Obviously, the Vegas teams playing this weekend as well. But Harold Matts and SG Ball team lists are both up, guys. If you want to go check out the team list, go check it out on Future Warriors NZ on Instagram, or all your other content creators out there. I'm sure Warriorholic and all that have got links and all that up to these sites as well. He was definitely chatting to me before about these teams, and very, very excited for it. But some guys obviously to watch out for this year if you're going to go SG Ball. Bishop Neal's obviously the big one. Everyone's got bookmarks over. Joseph Ratcliffe played in our Jersey flag towards the end of last year. Great young fullback, so keep an eye out for him. Just names across the park, guys, that I'm very, very excited for. But brother, Lennox Tuiloma has been named
Yeah,
as well.
I was
That's a big one.
just about to name him. Yeah.
What do you reckon, bro?
Him, Gordon Afoa. He was
Mm,
named captain. I'm pretty sure.
yep,
He's gonna be like seeing him being named captain and just like what that brought out of him
yep.
was like insane, and I'm so excited to see him. And we mentioned him before as well, but Ioka is gonna
Yeah.
be he's gonna be so good.
Oh, bro, I'm excited to see that, and obviously Harold Matts, guys. There's a lot of big new names here. I think we saw Olsen a couple of games of last year, the
Mhm.
fullback for Harold Matts. But other than that, I'm not seeing too many big names pop out for me that I've seen previously. Cristiano Alia, I think we saw last year as well. But from what the photos I've seen of some of the kids that trialed too, brother, we've got
Oh my
some
gosh.
We've got some talent there, guys. So make sure you get
Yeah.
excited for that. As we said before, was a barsports.com. Sign up for that's where New South Wales Cup and all our junior grades will be played on, guys. If you want to go watch it live, we'll definitely keep in track week in, week out. But any other players that you're excited for our junior grades, bro, before we go?
I mean, is that a Carly I see in there as well?
Yeah, I
Daniel
saw a
Nella
Carly in
Carly.
there.
Is that
Yeah, yeah.
another Carly?
Another one.
I mean, bro, these squads are so big. I think that's what we need to remember as well. Is like, isn't the Harold Matt squad like 30 something, 40 something players?
I think it was
Um,
38 or something
yeah,
like
and
that.
then the SG ball is the same. So we've almost got like, what's that like?
Close to 80
Yeah,
kids talent.
80 kids under what 19 years old.
Hmm.
Like the fact
Crazy.
that we have 80 kids under 19 years old coming through and just like, oh man, I'm just excited to see who can stand up. And it's not even the stand up in terms of who can create the big highlight moments like Bishop Neal. It's the ones that can, get up consistently, can play, the big minutes and play them, as effectively as they can. So as much as like I'm excited to watch the NRL action this weekend, with the four Vegas sides, like being able to see the like these lower grades play is going to
Hmm.
be just like is such a just I don't know, man. Like it's Warriors football. We're back. I can't speak.
That's what I'm excited for, bro. And guys, make sure you tune in, week out. All You Can Eat Warriors. Me and Joshy will be bringing up all our previews and reviews of the weekend that was, junior talent, stuff like that. Make sure you stay tuned here. But quickly before we go, a couple of little ones here. Tans, quick question. Ash, are you going to be doing FC with Brody? Yeah, so me and Brody we're doing a stream tomorrow night on my channel on Ash Thomas, guys. Go check it out. I'm pretty sure there's a link in the description to my channel. If not, just type into YouTube, Ash Thomas. You'll see my ugly little face there. But me and Brody have got our Supercoach League up, and we are planning to do maybe a Supercoach Draft League. So I think it'll be the first and best dress because there'll only be a certain amount of teams get in there. But do keep an eye out. But make sure you tune in tomorrow night. Me and Brody will go through all that sort of stuff as well. And there is, I've restarted the Wise Up League too, guys. Tomorrow, next week's show, I might put the league code in the description as well for anyone that wants to jump into there. It was under membership. I'll talk to Levon and see how we want to play that out for this year as well. And quickly, Adam Smarts. Can you boys answer the hardest question in rugby league? Who is the better player out of JT or Kronk?
Do you want to throw that to me first?
I want to throw that to you first.
Bro, it's a tough one. Like Kronk, if it wasn't for the Roosters, the 2 years he played at the Roosters, I would have said JT every single day of the week and twice on Sunday, or maybe twice on Wednesday because of State of Origin. But I think Kronk closed the gap quite a bit with the Roosters there. But I'm still gonna pick JT. I think it was a bit more versatile. Could do a bit more. Could play both 7 and 6 and played them quite effectively. And I think he was more effective for longer.
I'm probably going to follow you in there, bro. I think that's the reason why this argument is like so tough is Cooper, when he went from the Storm to the Roosters, that was a whole discussion over him because everyone looked at him as a systematic halfback. And in ways, he was probably the best systematic halfback of all time, right? He probably was the system. Wherever he went, he created and was the system. JT is a lot more of the open-minded, the play off the cuff, the guy that just made it happen on the football field. One more than the other. The other was a little bit more of a cult following, but probably was. I would rather watch JT football, but I'd rather break down Cooper Cronk football. If that makes
Yeah, I'd
sense.
rather have Kronk break down the football as well.
Yeah. Because,
um,
JT, similar Andrew Johns, right? Just a guy that can pull something out of nothing when he really wanted to. He's probably got all the ability in the world. He has got all the ability in the world. Where I think Cooper's worked at it so hard, so he had to embed, he had, footy IQ wise, he had to, more of a coaching type of sort of look of the game, getting to certain points of the field. Like, I like all that side of it, but also there's that entertainer side of like a JT stepping up and big left foot, bang, just breaking the game open, ugly sort of field goal that just rattles in, that sort of stuff.
he did too many of those, eh?
So
Well,
good. But
hey, at least we can say they're both incredibly leagues above Mitchell Pearce.
Yeah, shout out. Where's he going to get that photo for that shield out back? Or no.
That was one of the best sledges ever from JT as well. Just, like, this is as close as you're gonna get.
Thank God we ended with that. Thank God footy is back, my brother. I'll tell you that
100%. Absolutely.
But bro, thank you so much for coming through, Joshy, again. Again, guys, Joshy will be with us as much as you can, week in, week out. If you ever wanted to say no, make sure you can say no whenever you want, but I know he loves it too much.
Hey man, I've actually cleared all my Tuesdays until October, so
man,
we're on.
Oh bro, I'm excited. But thank you so much, guys. Yes, my channel goes live tomorrow as well, same time as this, but over on my channel, guys. Me and Brody will be breaking down all NRL, but for all your New Zealand Warriors, all you can eat Warriors, make sure you tune in every Tuesday night. Me and Josh will break everything down all day, baby, all day. But again, guys, thank you so much for coming through. You guys are all absolutely incredible. Yeah, not much more to touch, but make sure you keep an eye out for the trials over the weekend, the junior footy for the weekend, and make sure, guys, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. Much love. Take it easy. Peace out.